Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's guest is Phebe Trotman, multi Hall of Fame athlete, award-winning entrepreneur, and best-selling author of the Never Quit on a Bad Day book series. From 6 national championships and multiple Hall of Fame induction to becoming a top global leader in business, Phoebe has built a career around resilience, discipline, and a champion's mindset. Her mission is simple but powerful: help people through doubt, build mental strength, and reach their highest potential, especially on days they feel like quitting. Phoebe, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here and looking forward to our conversation.
Okay, so let's talk about identity and foundation. So beyond the titles and the awards, basically, who is Phoebe at our core?
At her core, Phoebe is a person who loves to encourage others. Phoebe's gone through a lot on her own journey. Thankfully, I've had incredible parents, people of faith, my own faith as well too, and just an incredible support system to be able to navigate through those challenges. And through them, one of my goals is to help other people, and just through sharing my experiences and how I've been able to kind of move through it and grow through some of those challenges and really just be a support to other people. So that's me in a nutshell. I love to have fun. I do work hard, but I love to have fun as well, and really just to enjoy the most out of this beautiful life that we're given.
Oh, wow. Okay, that sounds amazing, actually. So, yeah, when we look back at your career, what shaped you more, wins or losses, basically?
I feel like we learn a lot from both of them, if we choose to. And the reason I say that is because wins, I mean, wins, you have the high of the win. And especially when you think back, often I do, of all the tough stuff and the losses that happen to get to the win, it's like, it's such a pinnacle. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I've hit that moment, whether it's a national championship or winning an award in business or anything that someone, feels that they've hit that mark of success and that's a win. Now, wins, I believe too, they can be big wins. They can also be small wins. We decide what is big or small, and it's all relative as too. And with the losses, I think one of the beautiful things about a loss is you can choose to learn from it. And I think when we start to choose to learn from what we would consider a quote unquote loss, then sometimes it's not so much of a loss as it is a learning experience. Now, in soccer, which is my background for sport, there are games that you actually lose where you do lose that game, and you can still learn from it though, right? How do you come back stronger? I believe a lot of the times the reasons that the teams I was on have won national championships is because we've lost big games as well. And then we've had that burning desire, that fire inside of us to come back stronger, to work harder, to learn from that loss so that the next time we play, whether it's the next game, the next season, or seasons after, there we will have some sort of a win that we can hold on to and celebrate.
Okay, wow. All right. So yeah, you've won at the highest level. So what do people misunderstand about elite athletes, actually?
Well, one of the things I think is that people don't realize how hard elite athletes work. A lot of times, there's a
Mm.
lot of stuff that's done behind the scenes that isn't often seen. Now, that being said, that's why I encourage people and I love to share lessons from athletics because anyone can apply the same principles and lessons that you learn from athletics into whatever they want to excel in. So, with soccer, I mean, a lot of the times there was so much work put in behind the scenes, whether it was just me with my ball on my own in a garage playing against the wall. Sometimes I'd be playing with my brother or my dad. There was a lot of extra that was done behind the scenes. And I think that applies to all areas of our life. Oftentimes we just see, especially on social media, it's like the highlight reel of what someone's doing. However, there's usually a backstory. There's people putting in a lot of work. And when you put in work with time, you will create some form of success, whatever that looks like for your listeners who are listening in. The key, though, is are you willing to put in the extra, right? The extra when you might not want to get out of bed and go work out, the extra when it's cold or rainy outside and you're still going to the field to practice, the extra, whatever it might be, and understanding that there will be some sacrifices and that's okay. Can you continue to put one foot in front of the other as you are pursuing your goals and dreams?
Wow. All right. Yeah. Never quit on a bad day.
Mhm.
What does that actually mean?
The beautiful thing about never quit on a bad day, it can mean different things to different people depending on the season that you're in. In essence, though, what never quit on a bad day is all about is it's never quitting on your goals and your dreams when
Mm,
you're having a tough moment, like not making a permanent decision based on temporary emotions. Because oftentimes when we think about it, when do we quit something? We usually quit it when we're frustrated, we're angry, we're disappointed, a slew of negative emotions, if you will. But those emotions are temporary. So it's not making a decision that can permanently impact your life, if you will, while you're in that temporary state of emotion. So it doesn't mean never, quote unquote, quitting something. There are times when it is important to quit, or I like to say move forward or transition into something else. It's just choosing to do that on a day when the emotions are calm or neutral versus doing it on a day when your emotions are really high. And so it's really about realizing those temporary emotions, they will fade. So can you push through just a little bit longer, get to the other side, and then make the decision that's best for you in your future when you're at a place where you're feeling a little bit better, if you will, about the situation that you might be in.
okay, wow. So it's about, trying to make it past your temporary emotions, right? Because decisions made with temporary emotions might not be good, right? It might not be what's
Absolutely.
best for us. So we have to do what we have to wait and think and figure it out when we are calm and then, make the right decision. Okay, I got that
Yeah,
part now.
absolutely. And one of the things too, if it is, whatever you want to consider the right decision, that decision will still be there tomorrow or in an hour when you've had a chance to kind of relax and kind of think about it in a different light. So it's not saying don't ever quit or move forward or transition into something else. It's just do it again when your emotions are in a place where you're not angry, you're not frustrated, we're not making it from that heightened emotional state. We're making it from more of a neutral state or a state where we can really look at the situation clearly, objectively. Maybe we've talked to someone who is a mentor or advisor, or someone who can, shed some light as well too, just to have a chance to really make that decision when you're coming from a place that is looking forward to your future and you're making that decision, choosing to go on a different path, whatever that might look like for the person listening in.
Okay, wow. So, can you tell me, like, what's the psychology beyond or behind wanting to quit, basically?
The psychology behind it, I'm not even sure the psycho because I think that's I mean, there's different reasons for people to quit on whether it's a goal. So you might have a short-term goal that you're working on, and maybe, someone's not seeing the results they want as quickly as possible. I know when I've had seasons where I've wanted to, quit something, if you will, it's because number one, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to. So I was, frustrated or angry or upset. I've had those seasons. I've had seasons where I've had goals and they haven't happened as quickly as I wanted them to. And it's just like, oh, is this really a goal I want to do? And I've questioned it as well. And even I share in the first book I wrote about going after a goal in business, and just there was roadblock and roadblock and roadblock and these just different things that were happening that really in some ways were out of my immediate control, if you will. And so then I came to a point where I was like, well, maybe I'll do it another time. So not quitting on it completely, but just kind of deferring that goal. And thankfully, I had a wise friend who spoke words of encouragement and just said, no, like now's the time. And I'm so grateful that she did because it helped me, again, shift my perspective to continue on. So I think quitting something is oftentimes, it is a very personal decision. A lot of times it has to do with multiple situations that someone is going through. So I don't know what I feel like it's sometimes, yeah, no, different things that create that emotion. And sometimes we feel that, or I'll say this as personally, when I've come to those moments where I'm like, ah, I'm just gonna, do something else, it's often because we feel like doing something else is easier than riding out what we're doing. And my encouragement is what I've experienced over my life when I ride out what I'm currently doing, at least to get to the other side of those emotions. It's been something that's been so worthwhile. And the growth that I've experienced by continuing through, hands down, it was the right decision to keep going in those circumstances.
Wow. All right. So yeah, let's talk about, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? So
Mhm.
you say you've learned to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So how actually?
Just by doing stuff, doing things that, right away you're like, ah, and you
Mm,
do it anyways. And when I say that, I mean along the path of what you're looking to create and do. So depending for every person, we all have, our comfort zone. And our comfort zone are they're designed to keep us what we call safe and secure. And it's everything that we know and feel. Well, I had a mentor, I remember he always used to say, like, if everything that you wanted was within your comfort zone, you'd already have it. So
mm,
getting what you want, it's about stepping outside of your comfort zone and understanding that when you take that first step outside of your comfort zone, you're entering into a new territory. So you're gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay. Can we get excited about feeling uncomfortable? Because it means we're getting one step closer to whatever it is that we want to accomplish. And so just over the years, I've consistently challenged myself by doing things that aren't initially comfortable for me. They aren't necessarily something that I'm like, yes, let's go do it. However, I know that it is making me stronger. It's growing my comfort zone. It's expanding it. So that allows me to, again, get closer to the goals and dreams that I have. And so I encourage people to continue to step outside of that comfort zone. And every stretch that you do, it's taking you closer to your goals and dreams. It's taking you to closer to the person that you're destined to become. And even I'm working on a new book right now, and it's all about challenging yourself because I've seen again over the years how much transformation I've experienced in my own life by continuing to challenge myself. And so I want to encourage other people to do that as well.
okay, wow. All right. So challenging myself. Okay. So yeah, you've experienced injuries, being caught, not starting. What did rejection actually teach you?
Oh, rejection has taught me a lot, and not just from rejection as a soccer field, but rejection even as a younger child growing up. I grew up in Vancouver, Canada, and so feeling, like I was the only Black person in an environment, sometimes the only Black female in an environment, and so there were moments of rejection. And the one thing my parents always just reiterated was like, go where people celebrate you. Not everybody's gonna like you, and that's okay. Who are the people who like you? Who are the people who love you? And how can you surround yourself with those people more and more? And so that's definitely has been something that has carried throughout my life on the personal side. On the sports side, I mean, the getting cut, it was devastating. It was devastating. I still remember crying and crying and crying and just being so upset with it. And again, my parents kind of took that situation into a teachable moment. And it was all about, well, what can you control? And when we looked at it, it was like, well, I can control my attitude. I can control my work ethic. I can control my mental toughness. And so I can control what I put in, the extra that I put in. And in hindsight, that terrible, hard experience of being cut set me up for so much success in life and within my career because it taught me to focus on what I can control. And it taught me to really do the extra, right? Do the best of my ability in whatever time that I was given on the soccer field to bring my best to that. And the way I was going to do that is by doing the extra again on the days that I didn't necessarily want to. However, I had a goal that I wanted to focus on. And so I put in the work to accomplish those goals. So, I just encourage people when we can step back. Again, the emotions are there. The emotions, I was very upset. I was crying, when I got got cut. Those emotions are real. So when someone's going through a tough time, those emotions are real. Sometimes it just take another perspective and go, what can I learn from this situation? And I didn't want to learn that at that young age, but my parents helped me realize it. And it did end up being a very powerful lesson. And so I always encourage people, how can we look at our situations with another set of glasses on? Not the glasses that are, the emotional filled one, but the glasses that are a little bit more, what can I learn from this situation? What can I take away from this situation to be better, to improve, to grow, and to, continue to grow into the best version of yourself?
Wow. All right. So yeah, how should someone handle being overlooked? I feel like just spoken about that already, right? But I still also feel like you have more to tell us. So during those phases where, you were overlooked or you felt some type of way, how did you handle it, basically?
Well, I'm definitely on the sensitive side, so I'll be totally transparent. A
Mm,
lot of times there were tears. It's not like I didn't, get upset about certain situations when I was overlooked or I didn't think a situation was right or fair or all the emotions. Absolutely. I also think part of it is taking a step back and really focusing on what can you control. That
mm,
is such a powerful lesson in itself. And because when we take a step back and we look at what we can control in any situation, then now work from that place. So if I look at some of the stuff that happened in soccer, what can control? I'm not able to control the coach's decision. The coach's
mm,
decision is the coach's decisions. What I can control is what Phebe Trotman does in terms of making sure I'm making the coach's decision as easy as possible that that coach wants to start me. The reason that coach is going to want to start me or play me a lot is because I'm fit. My touch is on. I'm working hard. I have a great attitude. I'm a team player. I'm strong. I'm technically sound. I'm understanding gameplay, all the things that I can control. And ultimately, for the most part, when you do the work and you put in the effort, things typically will line up. Now, if they don't and it still doesn't go necessarily the way I had wanted in the past, sometimes those are the emotions you have to deal with. Because again, if you've done the best of your ability and it still doesn't go your way, sometimes it's a timing thing. Sometimes it's continuing to put in the work and eventually things do go your way and then you hold on to that. But there is that personal fulfillment as well when you know you've given everything to a situation, even if you're not getting the external validation, there's the personal fulfillment that you're like, I
mm.
put in the work. And so sometimes it was a matter of just holding on to that as well.
Okay, wow. All right. So yeah, my podcast is for young adults, right? And you've
Hmm.
actually all the advice you've given so far are basically very, very life-changing for we young adults. And yeah, I
Hmm.
still feel like you have more to offer us, right? So, many young people they struggle with comparison and impatience. So, what would you tell them for those people who are struggling with comparison, basically?
So there's a quote that just sticks out in me every time I hear the word comparison. And again, I'm a human. So there are moments that I compare over here or there. And I remind myself of this. And it's comparison is the thief of all joy. And it's such a powerful thought process because when we start to compare, we're diminishing our own
Mm,
capacity and self-worth by comparing. Now, I always say if we're going to compare from a place of, well, I want what they have or I haven't done what they have, we don't know
mm,
what they've gone through to get to where they are. Oftentimes, it's like comparing apples to oranges. They're
mm,
different fruit. They all have their own season. They all have their own, like I love apples, I love oranges. It doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It just means they're different and they're unique. And that's how we are created as human beings to be different, to be unique, so that we can all contribute to creating, a wonderful world that we live in. And so when we compare, all of a sudden we're saying we're less than. That's not the case. That person's journey, they just might be a little bit further ahead on the journey. Or they may have a different backstory than you have. I always ask people to focus, like, what do you ultimately want in your life? Because the
mm,
other thing that's easy, and I found myself getting into this, is I would look at someone else's life and I'd compare and I'd be like, well, I want that. And I'd work, work, work,
mm,
work, work hard for whatever that is. But I didn't really want it. It was just a thought process. And so one of the things I always encourage young people to do and everyone to do, but really talking to your audience is like, what do you want your life to look like? If you project 5 years out from now, 10 years out from now, grab a piece of paper, get into a quiet space, play some soft music, and really think about what do you want your life to look like? What will make you smile? How do you want to feel physically, emotionally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially? Like, what does your life look like? And write it from a place of feeling as if you're already living it, because in your mind now you have, write it all down and work towards that. Because here's the thing, Joy, what you would write on that piece of paper for what you would ultimately want your life to look like is going to be different than the next person and the next person and the next person. Sure, there might be some overlap in terms of like good health and financially successful and career that you love and family, etc. There'll be some overlap. It's still going to look a little bit different. And when you have a clear picture of what you want your life to look like, then you start working towards that and realize that the person to the right of you, the person to the left of you, they're on a different track. They're still moving forward, but their destination's a little bit different than yours. So focus on yours and keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Okay, wow. All right. I'm actually moved to ask you, what would you define success?
For me, that's a great question. For me, success is being able to have the time and the resource to be with the people that I love, to be able to
Mm,
spend that time with my friends and family, and to be able to create those moments where we're just together with each other and having that time. That to me is the ultimate success. And of course, having the health and the health from a mental standpoint, the physical health, the spiritual health, the emotional health, to really enjoy those moments with them.
okay, wow. So that's actually a pretty, interesting take on success because I do ask a whole lot of people what their take on success is. So I have this like rapid fire questions segments, right?
Perfect.
So,
I love it. Let's do it.
so would you pick discipline or motivation?
Discipline,
Okay, so talent or work ethic?
work ethic.
Oh, process or outcome?
Ooh. Can I say both?
Oh yeah, you can actually.
Okay. I should have said both for all the other ones too, but we'll go both for
Okay.
process and outcome.
Okay, so comfort or growth?
Growth.
Cool. All right. So yeah, this was just, powerful actually. And yeah, I'm done with that segment. So thank you so much for coming on here. I feel like I have learned a whole lot from what you've said. And I hope my listeners can also take what you've said and then put it in their daily life, right? And, do the necessary things we need to do to get that happiness or the success we want. So thank you so much for this, actually. I really do appreciate it.
You're my pleasure. Thank you so much for what you're doing with creating your podcast to help and inspire everyone as well, because that's so powerful and that's exciting too. So thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
All right, you're welcome. So where can listeners get to know more about you and what you do?
Absolutely. So I want to encourage them to go over to my website. So it's neverquitonabadday.com. And when you go to the website, you can enter your email. You can get a free sneak peek of the newest book in the Never Quit on a Bad Day series, which is coming very, very soon. So I want to encourage everyone to
Mhm.
get that. And then on social media, my handle is Never Quit on a Bad Day. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well. And it's just a great place to connect, find more inspiration, and continue to connect with the Never Quit on a Bad Day community.
All right. Well, I would actually love to join the community if you don't mind, actually.
Absolutely. Would love to have you.
All right. So, yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for tuning into Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this and also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episode. Thank you, Phoebe. Do have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you. You as well. Take care.
All right. Bye.